You're tuned to The Drive on your 24/7 home of the black and gold. Steelers Nation Radio.
Good afternoon, Steelers Nation. It's The Drive on the Steelers Audio Network here on a Friday as we have made it to the end of a hectic week. And we are rewarded, Matt, with a lovely slate of divisional round games this weekend, 2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday. A lot of people that are in the sphere, the orbit of what you and I do.
Yeah.
Okay, radio, TV, print, whatever, but football, media.
Yeah.
Will often say that championship weekend is the best weekend of football.
I don't think anymore.
Because you get 2 great games, and it's the 4 teams. I think this weekend might be the best weekend of football because I think the 2 and 2
I think wild card is.
Okay.
Just because there's so many. I mean,
Sure.
it actually gets a little overwhelming.
It does.
I mean, there's that many standalone games.
This year was an exception because most of the wild card games were excellent. Or I feel
you
like
might be right. There's
normally
some
blowouts
7 seeds.
where the division round is like when it starts to get thick and tight.
Yeah. If you're this far, you're good.
Correct.
You know, that's a good point.
Correct. So, big weekend of football.
I'll definitely take this over championship weekend.
Agreed.
Yeah.
2 games Saturday, 2 games Sunday, and obviously we'll talk more about this Monday, but you got the national championship game in college football Monday.
But I do got to say, I mean, you're a little young for this, but it would be like Steve Young versus Aikman. And you knew that was like the Super Bowl.
Sure.
You know, those teams were awesome. They met every year for like the NFC Championship.
And
Emmett.
For so long, the AFC Championship was Brady and Manning and Roethlisberger, and the NFC Championship, is Rodgers and Breeze and all these great quarterbacks. Yeah, so, hey.
This year it could be like May versus Knicks. It's pretty crazy. Or Caleb Williams versus, right.
It could be that year. I think it was 2018 when the Nick Foles-led Eagles won the Super Bowl. It was Tom Brady, okay.
Of course.
But then the other 3 quarterbacks were Blake Bortles, Case Keenum.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And Nick Foles.
Okay, yeah.
We could have.
There's a lot of ways to get there, folks.
We could. Right. There's more than one ways to skin that cat. That is for sure. And we will talk plenty about those divisional round games as we roll along today. We're going to talk to our friend Missi Matthews here in about 10 minutes, get her thoughts on the conclusion of this season and the conclusion of the Mike Tomlin era. And we will discuss rookie classes across the National Football League here a little bit today on the show too. So plenty to get to. But as I think we'll continue to do, Matt, as we are now in this coaching cycle, full speed ahead, here we go, like we haven't been in 19 years. News of the day every single day, who's interviewing.
Yeah, there's always a little something.
Both people interviewing with the Steelers and new names that they've requested to interview, and then, of course, members of the Steelers' current staff who are interviewing elsewhere. Let's start with a big one, Matt. We, yesterday, discussed how at the time that you and I finished recording, I believe it was 6 of 7 of the names that the Steelers had requested to interview for their vacant head coaching position were defensive coordinators.
Yes.
And then Nathan Schiehlhaas,
I like it.
Being the lone exception to that, the LA Rams pass game coordinator. Well, you can add another one to the offensive side of the equation. The Steelers have submitted an interview request for 49ers offensive coordinator Clay Kubiak for their head coaching vacancy, according to Adam Schefter, Diana Rossini, a lot of credible reporters.
Mm-hmm.
And this to me is exciting because I like the names, I like the background, I like the age group, I like the profile of the defensive coordinators that they've requested so far. But I wanted to see some more offensive names on that list too.
Yeah, I was hoping it wasn't just one guy we really like and defense.
When it's 6 out of 7 defensive guys, it does feel like you're pigeonholing yourself a little bit. But here comes another offensive name.
I do think I would have to go look at all the open teams, but I think there's definitely more defensive guys being interviewed across the league than offensive at the moment.
I think that's a good and fair point by you.
This year is just stronger in that side.
It almost seems like those things are cyclical. Like NFL draft classes are. Some years it's better for quarterbacks. Some years it's better for linemen. Some years it's better for wide receivers. Last year it felt like most of the big name candidates available in the coaching cycle were offensive-sided, offensive-minded. Where this year,
Chicago, right?
This year the shoe's a little bit on the other foot. But Clay Kubiak, certainly a name that people recognize from that Kyle Shanahan tree where there's been a lot of success. This is, again, if they are going to go the offensive side of the football, And it's someone that's been spending time with McVay. It's someone that's been spending time with Kyle Shanahan. That's sign me up.
Start.
Sign me up. This is a very good start.
Yep. What's funny is he is from the Kyle Shanahan tree, but I'm a little older. I think of the Mike Shanahan tree, especially when I hear the last name Kubiak.
Totally.
Because Mike coached Elway, whose backup was Kubiak.
Yep.
And then Kubiak had kids, Shanny had kids, and now they're like this network. They're like the Targaryens now, right?
Get some Game of Thrones reference. Yeah. Not the Starks, because they're still with us.
Yes.
And if you watch that Elway documentary that just came out on Netflix in the last month or so,
yes,
Kubiak is interviewed in part of that documentary heavy, and it is pretty cool kind of their relationship and what they both became to be.
So side note, and I'm not trying to sell Will Howard short, but I've kind of called Will Howard the Kubiak for the next, hopefully for the Elway.
I think that's a compliment.
It is. The Jason Garrett for the Aikman, the Reich for Kelly. I mentioned those three names because they all went on to be head coaches, and everyone talks about how smart Howard is. He could be that guy.
Doug Peterson was another one of those career backup quarterback guys.
The guys that last, for 10 years with the Hall of Famer. Maybe Will Howard can be a Hall of Famer. That seems like quite the stretch, to say the least, but I'm hoping when they draft somebody early, he turns into Elway, and that's his Kubiak,
Roethlisberger and Leftwich.
Right.
Roethlisberger and Batch.
Just do it forever.
I am with you. I think we even talked about that. I can't remember if it was at training camp or whenever, but you and I are in lockstep in that one. I think that is a perfect scenario and one that I'm sure we'll discuss plenty as we get to.
And I think that was kind of their plan too.
Yeah.
When they drafted Howard, have somebody in place. Maybe it can be a 10-year backup. And if that's what you get out of a 6th-round pick, that is a home run, by the way, folks. That's not what I meant.
Kyle Shanahan earlier this year, when he was asked about Clay Kubiak a few weeks ago in a press conference and his potential to be a head coach, he said, and I quote, "Clay doesn't get enough recognition. He's as good as anyone I've had and is responsible for as much, if not more, than our offensive game plan as myself. Clay's a stud," end quote.
Wow.
So
all I know about him is his last name, which is great.
Yep.
He spells his first name with a K, not a C, and he's coming from roots that I like a lot in terms of offensive stuff. And I did read that quote too, which I don't think there's any reason for him to, fabricate that in any way. It brings me to another quick conversation, though. Remember how when we started having this assistant coach conversation, I mentioned, it makes me uncomfortable because I know I don't know. It's kind of like medical stuff. But the way, Shanahan phrased that, what I meant to add to that equation or that conversation, too, is, during the week, every coach has their own responsibility. Clay may have been, devise our red zone plan, devise our third down plan, and the running back coach is blitz pickup. They all have their own things.
First down scenarios.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or, hey, break down all their blitz packages or their dime defense or whatever it is, whatever every team's process is. And that's the things we'll never know. I don't know what each of these guys' responsibility was during the week,
Totally. That is what we'll never know. But I think what we do know is encouraging places where these guys come from. And that's San Francisco offense. Again,
I like the styles of offense that the Steelers are tapping into.
When you're casting a wide net, that's someone from that tree to bring in and have these conversations with. Sign me up. That's right up the alley. Speaking of which, Nathan Scheel-Haas, who maybe selfishly just for Yinzer pronunciation purposes, he might be an early favorite in the
that extra A helps his Yinzer stuff
in the Drive lexicon here. But he today doing interviews with the Browns, the Raiders, and the Steelers,
which I find hilarious.
Virtual,
of course. But because the Rams have a game.
Because the Rams do play. Yes.
You can't prohibit pretty big game. Can't prohibit your coaches from interviewing. But he does 3 of them today. I assume they're at least an hour long, wouldn't you guess?
And I would think he's interviewing for a head coaching gig.
Right.
This is not just like I'm going to hop on the Zoom and talk to Mr. Rooney and Omar Khan for 45 minutes. I'm sure he's preparing.
You have to do a lot of homework.
He's doing homework on the ownership and the general manager and what, we talked about yesterday.
These guys do like PowerPoint presentations.
What questions do I want to ask? With the Raiders, he's probably like, how do you guys feel about Fernando Mendoza? With the Steelers, where are we getting our next quarterback?
Right.
You know,
like, does he know a lot about the
Browns? Am I married to Shador Sanders for this year?
Absolutely. Does he know a lot about the last 10 guys on all 3 of their rosters? You know, like I assume that they're not expected to know everything about all these teams, but I always was curious how the actual process works. Now, my hunch is, I pretty much know this, especially because their team is still in it. If him or Shula, for example, both Rams guys, are really impressive on that call, well, then they'll have them here.
Totally.
Of course, after they get eliminated. You know,
and that's honestly, that's commonplace in the job world in general.
Of course.
Do a virtual or a phone interview first. Make sure, all right, we're all on the same page. You are what we think you are. We are what you think we are. And
everybody's still interested in, a week or 2 from now or whatever. I made the joke off the air when I heard that, though. I'm like, bet on the Bears. What kind of work is he getting done for the Rams today?
Can I tell you a quick funny story? Remember how I told you this, I think, a week or 2 ago on the show. I told you guys about how once upon a time in a different lifetime, this would have been about 10 years ago, I interviewed for a hockey broadcasting job in Alaska.
Yeah.
I was with the team in Ohio at the time. I was with the Youngstown Phantoms at the time. And this would have been a step up. This is, going from pass game coordinator to offensive coordinator or offensive coordinator to head coach. With the time differences and everything, like the only time they wanted to do a virtual interview with me first, and the only time that I could make it work really with the time change and stuff was during the day. And so I had to one day sneak into one of our suites in our arena because I didn't want everybody to know that I was interviewing for this job. And because, it's not like you don't have to put in a public request and all these things like they do. So I took my laptop and grabbed the suite keys from our sales guys who show clients around up there and stuff. And I went and barricaded myself in one of the suites in our arena and did my 15-20 minute Zoom interview with the other hockey team.
So this is common knowledge in the coaching world too, is so my years at Pitt, it wasn't as prominent because the head guy never got fired or promoted or whatever while I was there. Walt was the head coach each of the 3 years. But usually you walk down the hall and all the assistant coaches' doors are open. It's very friendly. Players might be coming in, whatever.
Someone yells a joke at you as you walk past.
Yeah, right. Hey, what's up? What are you doing, coach? Whatever. And but late in the year, you'll see some closed doors from time to time, and then you're like, maybe the running back coach is interviewing for the OC job at A&M or whatever. But the year with the Browns, by this point, we knew we were all kidding.
Everyone's barricaded, right?
Oh, every door is slammed shut. I mean, you walk down the coach's hallway, you don't hear a peep. I mean, they're all closed. Everybody's looking for a job.
That's funny. It is that time of year.
Yep.
And to kind of wrap this up, last piece of pertinent news, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers announcing a few hours ago that they have completed an interview with Danny Smith for their open special teams coordinator position. So
cool.
We know, obviously, there's going to be significant change to the Steelers staff. If you and I were to discuss or power rank on the Steelers staff who we would like to keep, I got to think Danny Smith would be pretty high on that list.
Yeah.
But he has, earlier today, interviewed for the special teams coordinator gig with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Maybe you know this or not, but I know Jerry reported that all the coaches were told, go look for jobs, basically. But that doesn't mean, as far as I know, that there's a 0% chance any of them are back.
Totally.
I think that's still
Say
possible.
It's Clay Kubiak or Chris Shula or Shil Haas.
Yeah.
And they come in and they're like, I want Eddie Faulkner. Look at what he did with Kenneth Gainwell and Jalen Warren. I want that guy.
I don't know if the Steelers will make them take any of the guys back, but hey, we really liked our running back coach. You think it'd be a good fit,
Yes. I remember when we played against the Steelers this year or last year, and I was really impressed with what Danny Smith did. I'd be interested in keeping that guy around if we could have a conversation with him.
He'll land somewhere unless he decides to retire. I mean, he's up in age, obviously.
A lot of these guys will, too. Like really Eddie Faulkner is going to find a job if it's not here in Pittsburgh. Zach Azzani is going to find a job if it's not here in Pittsburgh. But, that'll be something that we'll be keeping our eyes and ears in tune with as we roll along in this process as well. Let's get to our first break. Talk to our friend Missi Matthews on the other side. just kind of, I think it'll be good to kind of put a bow on the season with Missi. She's got a real good view in that regard. Get her thoughts.
She's interacted with Coach Tomlin a lot, too.
A million different times, yes. So we will talk to the queen of the sideline when we return on the other side. Just getting started here on a Friday. Let's have some fun on this Friday. It's The Drive on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Bouncing on a Friday here on The Drive. You know what that means. It is time to catch up with our good friend, Missi Matthews, the queen of the sideline, Steelers sideline reporter, kind enough to join us just about every Friday here throughout the season on the show. Missi, thank you for taking the time as always. And, you know, I thought we could be talking about a lot of different things this Friday, but I certainly didn't think a Steelers head coaching search for the first time in 19 years would be on the docket here. What was kind of your just initial reaction and your thoughts since then? Mike Tomlin stepping down after 19 seasons in the Steelers for, you know, the first time since I was in high school. A lot of us were much younger and doing different things, looking for a new head coach. What's this kind of just the thought process and the thought process, pardon me, and the emotions of this week been like?
Yeah, I will say what today is now Friday. I've processed it a lot better. I think a little stunned, to be honest. I think just, again, I agree with Steelers President Rooney II. After 19 years, you can't be shocked, but he wasn't expecting it Tuesday, right before that team meeting, fresh off of that loss in the wild card game. I, too, kind of felt the same way, like, whoa. Like, not only did the season just end, and it's that screeching halt that we all hate because you're just going through the grind, but it's fun and you love football. But then it was like this extra, like, you know, kick in the butt that really just did you in there. So I think I have started to accept it a lot more, not waking up thinking, is this really real type deal? And I just, like you said, it's an unknown for all of us. I was not here for the Bill Cowher era. I didn't come until 2012. So I don't know what it's like when you look for a new coach or new coaches. It's going to be weird that there's going to be so many new faces, new culture, new philosophy, new everything. And that's something that we have not been, you know, privy to because it's been nothing but consistency, like you said.
I'm excited about it. And by no means is that like a slight on the old staff or any of those things. But I was wondering if you felt the same way.
Yeah, I think it's almost like a first day of school, but it's not really type of deal in a way. Like I see what you're saying. And
my kids are older than yours, but it's kind of like when my son went off to Kentucky, you know?
Okay. Yeah, no, we're not at that age yet. Like middle school starts next year, and that already feels like a big transition for me personally. But I can't imagine. Yeah, it's just different. It's just, it's just weird because, again, it's like you just get used to things. And I do firmly think they are going to cast a wide net. They are going to be open-minded about who they bring in. It's going to be a number of people. And like Art said, the first time they talked to Mike Tomlin, he didn't think that was going to be the head coach. And that's why you go through the process and you learn more about them. And I don't think it has to be, the status quo of it has to be a young guy. It has to be a defensive mind. I truly believe that they are going to find the best leader, the best person to build a brand new culture and brand new everything, because that's what you need. And the Steelers clearly are not a team that like to do this, every other year. So that's something that I think you're obviously not in a time crunch. Like Art said, you want to have this done well before the combine, but at the same time, it'd be stupid to rush through a process that is as impactful as this one.
No, it certainly would, and that's the world that we're all living in right now. Missi, you speak on that culture thing, and I think that is, on a long list of things, that's one of the top, would be the first things you would list about the strengths of Mike Tomlin, the culture that he built, the leadership, the respect from top to bottom in the organization, through the locker room. And I'm sure that's something I know you can speak to with the time you've spent around the team, practices, locker rooms, sidelines around Mike Tomlin, just how much everybody in the organization believed in him, how much he set the tone for the culture every single day, whether it was practice, whether it was a game day, whether it was the offseason, and just how much that meant over the course of 2 decades to this organization.
Yeah, I mean, I think, any professional athlete.
Sounds like someone just scored.
Yeah. If you can't tell, I'm back into hockey season, guys. I'm going to Detroit tomorrow.
Oh, man.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm in Delmont today, but Detroit tomorrow. Hopefully I have as good of luck as I did the last time I was there. So I told my son, I said, listen, last time I was in Detroit, good things happened.
That's right.
There you go.
But, yeah, I just think, it's that they're all just alpha male competitors who want to win at everything, whether it's throwing a tape ball in a trash can, winning a game. But I think because the belief was so strong heading into that wild card game after everything they went through this season, that is why just the locker room had to been one of the worst that I have been in, because nobody expected that to be the outcome. Certainly not the way that it happened. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a testament to the culture and the mindset that he built. It's why he works so well with Aaron Rodgers. It is why Aaron Rodgers also felt that way. And everybody bought into it, clearly. So it really stinks. Trust me, I wish I was going to New England this weekend, not Detroit.
Yeah, no doubt.
So some of the folks over the years that spend time on the sidelines like you do, on the field for the game, have told me kind of just behind the scenes that it's not uncommon for players from the opposite team to approach Tomlin and say, hey, I'd really like to play for you. Have you ever run into anything like that?
Oh my gosh, in game. Like, just to come over and like dap them up during the timeout, in game. I mean, that is not uncommon. I mean, I'm probably so immune to it because it happens all the time. And it's like a respect thing. It's I just want to dap you up, shake your hand, or it is like, hey, come get me. That type of thing. And I've seen that happen as well. And I think you have to give him credit to. It's not the culture, but I guess the aura that he had, that when he went to a pro day, everybody wanted to be invited to that Steelers dinner the night before.
Yeah.
Because you wanted to talk to him. Even Jalen Ramsey talked about, I took the dinner because I didn't have a lot of money. It was a free meal, but I also just wanted to talk to him. I knew I wasn't getting drafted by them. And it's
I want to hijack that just for 1 second, Missy, because I always found that crazy.
Yeah.
And Dale and I used to talk about it once in a while. It's like, they went to Michigan's pro day and all the first round picks went out with the Steelers. I'm like, what'd the other 31 teams think? Or, they were at Iowa's pro day and there's Campbell and there's 5 other dudes, Laporta, on and on. And I'm like, did they just, did the other 31 teams just have no say in this or
just
what?
Go back to the hotel and eat fast food?
Right.
Well, I have heard that sometimes they'll try to go to another dinner, or it's like maybe you'll grab dessert with them or something after, because it is legitimately true that it was
But they don't go to 20 of them.
Pro day dinner? You can't.
Right.
But it's and it's every time he would do his preamble on Tuesday about the upcoming team, it was always, hey, I remember, Jack Campbell was the leader of that group when we were at that pro day dinner. And again, you knew they weren't getting him. But that is just how they did business, and I think why he's so well respected. And it's like a broken record. Every free agent was pretty much of course I wanted to play for Coach Tomlin. I've heard great things. Why wouldn't I want to come to Pittsburgh? It's a winning culture. They all knew. And that was definitely an allure to a lot of people, a lot of guys.
Missy, do you have a favorite Tomlinism? I know sometimes I feel bad putting people on the spot with, rack your brain over 19 years and pick out a couple examples, but I'm sure you've been asked this in the last few days, been thinking about this. Any of those classic slogans that will stick with you for the rest of your life?
Yes, I've always had this one. It was something hit me when he said it the first time, and it's not a common, popular one. It's not on a T-shirt, but excuses are the tools of the incompetent.
Good
and I feel
one.
I have used that in parenting moments. I've used that for self-talks to myself about it, and I just feel it applies to more than just football. That's a good life, to kind of
Good.
bring you back down to reality and make you really think twice before you start trying to make an excuse for something. So I love that one.
We'll let you go here in a minute, and you got a lot on your plate, but just curious, I mean, you interacted with Coach Tomlin a lot more than Wes and I did. I mean, how did he just affect you on a human level?
I was pretty beat up on Tuesday when the news broke, just because
Really?
he wasn't just like a good person and a good person to work with professionally, but just the personal level that he really wanted to know about everybody. I mean, I wasn't a player or a coach. We did his TV show. I did interviews with him, stuff with the preseason. But he always asked about my boys. He wanted to know what hockey games we were going. Like, where were we going? When are they playing tackle football? Come on, you got to get them into tackle. They're already doing hockey and lacrosse. Was always trying to talk me into different things. I'm like, we have like a million sports already. Like, I can't do this right now. But I think too, just the professionalism that he always showed and really, really helped me grow. I wasn't like fresh out of college when I came to the Steelers, but man, he put me through the ringer in a good way that I so appreciate, of how to ask the right questions, how to not ask a yes or no question. I mean, let me tell you, I still, like, during his press conference would be like, he's going to say yes or no. You can't ask it that way. You have to rephrase it. It has just been beat into my head. And for that, I'm forever grateful. And we'll definitely miss, his sarcasm, the funny moments, and just appreciate, what a good human and coach he was.
Well said, Missy. I keep thinking back to that famous line of, like, you forget what people say and what people do and the places you go together, but you always remember how someone made you feel when they were around when they were around you. And I think that's pretty apt for the 19 years of Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh. The great queen of the sideline, Missi Matthews, from a hockey rink in parts unknown. Be safe. Be safe up in Detroit this weekend, Missy. Thank you for taking the time for us all year. We really appreciate it.
You got it. If you're back next week, who knows what rink I'll be in on Friday.
Sounds good. We'll talk to you soon. There she goes, from the queen of the sideline to the queen of the ice rink. Good stuff there from Missi Matthews. And yeah, you're right. I mean, not many people who do what we do that spent as much time with Mike Tomlin as she did.
Yeah, absolutely.
Throughout all the decade plus that she's been with the Steelers, and training camps and road trips and practices and all that good stuff. It's probably her or Labs are probably the two that
Makes sense. Yeah.
that are highest on the list of, in terms of just, media people and the time that they've spent around Mike Tomlin. Good stuff there from Missi Matthews. Matt, when we return here on the other side, let's talk some rookie classes. Does that work for you?
Yeah, that's cool.
We've kind of, while we'll continue to monitor everything that's going on with the Steelers coaching situation, we need to get back into some regularly scheduled programming too. So we'll do some of that as we roll along here and talk finality for some of these rookie classes. Who played the most minutes? Who played the least minutes? How are they all graded out? We'll get into all that as we roll along. Uhler, Williamson, it's The Drive on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Down the home stretch here of the first hour of The Drive on this Friday. It'll be a little weird. I'm not going to lie to you, Matt. I was saying this to my wife this morning. I was like, it's going to be weird driving home today, because this will be the first. Obviously, there's football on the horizon this weekend. Very important football that we're going to spend a lot of time in hour number 2 talking about and discussing and previewing and predicting. But it's weird when it's not. It's football that I'm just sitting back and observing. There's no Steelers game.
Yep.
I'm not watching a WVU game or, getting up tomorrow morning to drive to Morgantown on a Saturday. I won't be at Heinz Field or Ford Field or Foxborough or, Mile High on Sunday. It's always a weird when it's that first, like, oh, I actually have my life this weekend. I don't have work and football this weekend.
Right.
Yeah.
So you probably already have got this, but the week after the Steelers get eliminated is always a weird week for me too.
Bizarre.
It's kind of no man's land and not like sure what to do with my hands,
Yes.
And then this one's 1,000 times weirder than any of them.
Exactly.
But there's definitely stuff to do, way more than the other one. Sometimes it's like, oh, I can relax, but I don't, because I still am in regular season mode.
Yeah. Like you guys will laugh at this. Just a couple days ago, Like I keep kind of my suitcase out throughout the football season.
Yeah, you've told me that. Yeah,
Like I just kind of keep it in the corner, like by our dresser, because basically every other weekend I'm like, why am I going to put this thing away and then get it back out?
Why you're not going to like put it up in the attic or whatever?
Exactly,
right? Yeah.
exactly. So I had left it out leading up to Monday night because I was like, Steelers win Monday night. We're going back on the road. We're going to Denver. We're going to New England. Or,
Sure.
And then by Monday night we knew it was going to would have been Foxborough, would have been New England. I was like, I'm leaving this out, man. I'm packing for Boston. I'm packing for Providence this week. And I just put it away finally on Wednesday. I was like, all right, well, I guess I can put this away in my
probably safe. Yeah.
Guess I can put this away in my closet. But it'll be weird. Normally I go home Fridays, like have dinner with the family, and then we put the girls down and I pack my suitcase up for the weekend for wherever we're going.
Even last night it was like 5:30 and I'd come up from downstairs. I just finished the podcast I do in my basement, and I kind of sat in my lazy boy, and my wife was on the couch, and she's like, "Are you done for the night?" I'm like, I guess I am. Yeah. Like, we could like start watching something or do whatever, like, yeah.
My wife was like, "So what
to do with ourselves?
What TV shows are we watching this weekend? Like, what are we getting into?"
All right.
It is. It happens around this time every year, but it's still always abrupt and then extra weird, extra different this time around, as we are in the middle of a coaching search for the first time in 19
it was like,
years.
"Hey, hon, how you been for the last 4 months?"
What's your name again?
Yeah.
Matt, let's talk some rookie class production. Now that obviously there are still 8 teams standing, but the majority of the league in the books. Do you want to start at the top of the order here? You want to start in the back? How do you want to start with where the Steelers are ranked and discuss them specifically? What do you think here?
I don't think we've spent a ton of time on 14 versus 15 or anything like that.
Agreed.
But do you want to talk at like maybe the top 5 or 6 and the bottom 5
and
or 6?
And then where the Steelers are.
And I would think the Steelers are low. I mean,
they are, spoiler alert.
Yeah. I mean, their rookie class was not super productive. I mean, it really just wasn't. I mean,
didn't have a second round pick.
And it helps when you pick early in the rounds too.
Absolutely.
That's the whole goal.
Even Derek Harmon, who had a good rookie season, and we all rightfully so are high on him moving forward, he still missed a few games, and so that kind of affects your production in this whole equation.
I think we all agree he was the Steelers' best player from their rookie class.
I don't think there's much of a debate there.
No.
The Saints actually come in at number 1 over the Browns, Matt, in terms of rookie class production.
I totally get it. First off was shock.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you got a starting quarterback out of the deal, and I thought Banks was a little overdrafted. He was really, really good this year. So they did the Steeler move and went back-to-back tackles in 2 consecutive seasons. Fuaga, who they stuck at left tackle even though he was a right in college, which everyone in that class, including Troy, had to do. And then this year they kind of made it right by putting Fuaga back to right tackle and putting Banks at left. And I thought he was overdrafted, as all O-linemen often are, and especially this last class. Linemen went really quick, and I think that's why the Steelers didn't end up with one. But he was really a good player. So they have a pair of bookends to start around, and maybe a quarterback.
Hey, if you find your future left tackle and your future quarterback in the same draft class, you can't do much better than that.
Yeah.
In terms of value and importance.
They had a couple defensive backs in the draft too.
And then I was going to say a couple guys in the secondary, Jonas Sanker and Quincy Riley, really key contributors. And then the 4th round linebacker out of Homa, Danny Sutzman, ended up having a pretty solid year too. So I mean they had 5 or 6 guys in that class that really contributed this year.
And they ended up winning a lot of games down the stretch when these young guys started to get their feet under them, and first-year head coach. And it's crazy. Like, the Saints have kind of been a butt of the jokes for a while because they max out their credit card like crazy. I always say it's always Mardi Gras in New Orleans, and they don't care about the hangover. That's a good one. It really is. I mean, they just live for today all the time. And then they finally, after decades, kind of bottomed out on purpose, knowing that they had to eventually got to eat your vegetables, and they could get back to being not terrible pretty quick.
They might win their division next year.
They might even be the favorite to.
And
I don't know.
That's not like saying they're going to win the NFC North.
No, right.
Or,
but still,
but
if they're in the playoffs around this time next year, I wouldn't be totally blown away.
Same.
Yeah.
Even if they end up being like a Lions type team, that's like the next one on the outside looking. I think they will play important football in December in 2026.
Yeah, I think they found a coach and a quarterback and pair of tackles, and it's a good start.
Hit on another draft class, and you're in really good shape. Number 2 is the Cleveland Browns, who we've discussed plenty.
I totally get it.
How somewhat out of necessity, but somewhat just because it was the smart thing to do. They played a ton of rookies. Mason Graham, obviously the 5th overall pick, who Matt and I aren't in love with.
No, I don't even think he's one of their best rookies.
But he's a fine player.
Oh,
I don't think he's ever going to be an all-pro or anything like that, but he's a fine player. Carson Schwetzinger, who certainly could be on his way to some all-pro years.
He's one of the better linebackers in the league already.
And he's going to win Defensive Rookie of the Year, I would imagine. Quinshon Judkins, who was outstanding at running back before he got hurt. And then you throw in Harold Fannin, too, the tight end out of Bowling Green, who was unbelievable. Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders, who started a few games for them. Dylan Sampson.
I mean, even if either one of those guys ends up being a lifetime backup, that's probably worth the pick.
Yeah. And so as we kind of highlighted, it's weird to evaluate for them because they hit on a lot. Like Carson Schwetzinger feels like a home run.
Yeah, they're all good players.
Quinshon Judkins, Harold Fannin, but they're just not at premium positions.
And I crushed them on draft day, too, for not drafting an offensive lineman. To have draft 0 of them.
Crazy.
I mean, their top 6 guys, 5 of them are free agents on the
old.
offensive line. And they're all old, too, right? Even if they would re-sign them. They're all the pair of guards, et cetera. And you're trying to build a nest for a quarterback, too. I wouldn't have gone that direction. And even when they made the pick, I would have taken Membo instead of Graham. Yeah.
I was just going to say, and I'm glad it worked out this way because we obviously wish the Cleveland Browns no success.
Yeah, right.
Imagine if instead of Mason Graham, if they would have drafted Membo, 5th overall.
At least you have a piece in place and a real good one on your offensive front.
You'd be looking at this class going, you might have gotten the best offensive lineman, you got the best linebacker, you got the best tight end.
It would have been one
of the best tight ends,
then.
one of the best running backs.
That switch, which is one I thought was an easy one to have made it on draft day. But boy, no team needed it more than them. I mean, I urge people, go to drafthistory.com and watch and go look at the Browns' 3 drafts before this. Like their average first pick is like the 70th pick overall. It's all because of the Watson thing, but it's just so debilitating.
The Rams did that for a while and were able to succeed with it.
Yes, but the Rams are so smart. I don't know if we've had this conversation. They went 9 straight years without a first-round pick. I think everybody knows that.
From Jared Goff until 2024. Until Jared Verse.
Yeah.
So from Jared to Jared.
Yeah, how about that? and Verse in his second year, and we know how long Goff's been around. But they're so smart. They were phenomenal with the comp pick game. So I did a little study. I think they averaged like I'm going to say even just under 10 picks per draft, although none were in the first round during that whole stretch. Mm-hmm. So you're at least taking bites at the apple. If you bring in 9, 10, 11 rookies.
And they made it work.
3 of them are 5th rounders. You're going to find a starting safety in that mix or a guard
they found
tight
Cooper
end.
Kupp in that mix.
Right,
they found
exactly.
Puka Nacua, Tutu Atwell. I mean, Kobe Turner, all these guys.
We'll talk about this a ton, but I definitely believe there are people that are better at drafting than others.
Yeah.
But it's such an inexact science. Make a lot of picks. You know what I mean? Right.
Because there's not an exact science to getting Antonio Brown and Puka Nacua in the 6th round, or else somebody would do it every year.
Exactly. Make a lot of picks.
Number 3, the Giants. Not surprising. Abdul Carter, Jackson Dart, Cam Scalaboo until that injury.
Pretty strong.
Darius Alexander, their 3rd round pick. Was a rotational piece on that D-line. Definitely helps.
The Browns, it helps
first.
you make the Hunter trade, and they were all bad teams to begin with. That's all helpful, but that doesn't diminish from what your rookie class is.
See if they can get old Johnny Knoxville back in the fold here.
Yeah.
Number 4, the New England Patriots. Will Campbell, Travion Henderson, Kyle Williams, Craig Woodson.
It's good.
Josh Farmer.
But I also think that speaks to this was not a great rookie class across the league either. I don't think the Steelers missed out on this tremendous rookie class that the rest of the league benefited from. Will Campbell, to me, is still a liability. People love him, and I don't quite get it.
I think Jared Wilson is a really good pick for,
That's a nice one.
3rd-round center.
Yes, and he's playing guard for them, but he might move back to center.
Yes, I don't think he's going to develop into a superstar, but to get that guy in the 3rd round, I think is really good value.
Yeah, and if you guys are real into this conversation and watching rookies this weekend, I bet Will Campbell gets his lunch eaten by those Texan DNs.
Oh, that'll be something to keep an eye on. Maybe we'll talk about that when we get to those games in hour number 2. Carolina Panthers 5. Tet McMillan, the 2 edge rushers, Trevor Etienne.
McMillan itself has a lot of weight there. That's pretty good.
Probably going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year.
There's a strong case that he was the best rookie in the league.
The surprising one to me on this list, Matt, is the Atlanta Falcons at number 6, but because they only made 5 picks.
Because they had to trade up, but 2 of them were first rounders.
But 2 of them were first rounders, and Jalen Walker and James Pierce, and we kind of talked about.
And they hit on those.
They hit on those.
Yeah.
And their defense for the first time in the 21st century feels
Can
like
rush
it's
the
trending in the right direction.
The safety Watts, too, has been really useful. He teams with Bates. So they added a lot on defense. Now, it's interesting. Atlanta lost their job. I mean, GM, head coach, everybody. There was 2 huge moves they made in the last year or so that weren't disasters, but still I think they would take back if you could.
Okay.
I think it's that trade, to move back into the first round and forfeit this upcoming first round pick, which is like 9th overall, even though Pierce is fine. But I mean, I think that they would redo that trade. And the other huge move they made was they signed Cousins, and then they draft Penix at 9 overall like a month later.
Doesn't make much sense.
Right. I mean, those are 2 risky moves that you bet that better be home runs or your owner says, sorry, I need someone else to do this. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they weren't even terrible moves, but they were big bites at the apple.
Number 7, the Chicago Bears. I thought they might be a little bit higher.
Loveland's a star.
Colson Loveland, Luther Burden's really come on strong. Ozzie Trepillo.
I mean, he's a starting left tackle now.
Had to play 7 games, I think, or 8 games there.
I would move them up.
You get Kyle Monangai in the 7th round.
Yeah, right. They're all offense.
They get Frazier, Zach's alternate cousin in the universe. I would have had them a few spots higher.
Yeah.
8,
next year's draft will be all defense, but yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. That's what you do with the young quarterback. Draft around him.
Exactly right. Build the nest.
Yeah.
Number 8.
And they're so alive because of it.
The LA Chargers, number 8.
Chargers. They didn't get anything out of Hampton.
I was just going to say, imagine if they would have gotten a full year out of Amari and Hampton.
Even Trey Harris, a good player, but he was part of a group. The rookie Gadsden did well.
I was going to say, Oronde Gadsden, the tight end, was the big one here. Jamari Caldwell.
He had to play a lot because of injuries and stuff.
Same with R.J. Mickens, the 6th-round safety out of Clemson, who filled in admirably.
That's not a stellar class, though.
Yeah.
No, it's all right.
It's all right.
You get some starters.
Number 9, the Baltimore Ravens. Malachi Starks, Mike Green.
Yeah, it's not doing much for me.
Teddy Buchanan started 13 games at linebacker, the 4th round draft pick out of Cal. Tyler Loop, thanks for that. We appreciate that, by the way.
I'm not doing jumping jacks over that one either.
Not either. Like the Jets are at 10. I might have the Jets a few spots
just
higher.
Membo
Just Membo and Mason Taylor alone.
Taylor's a quality player too.
I mean, again, if you're finding 2 decade starters in each of your draft classes, you're doing pretty well.
Yeah, I think the rule of thumb is if you can get 3, you're really happy. But I'm with you. Like if you get 2 that are like second contract, decade-long players for you, you put together a pretty good roster pretty quick.
I think Membo in a couple years might be talked about like we talk about Penei Sewell and Lane Johnson. And I think Mason Taylor
going to be a good quality tight end.
Yes, I don't think he's going to be Kelsey or Kittle, but I think he can be really stinking good.
Mm-hmm.
Matt, that's the top 10. Let's break here now, okay? And then we will
do the bottom 10, which includes the Steelers.
We'll get into the Steelers and some others to start hour number 2. And then obviously we'll spend the back half of hour number 2 talking all about these big 4 divisional games across the National Football League this weekend. Halfway home here on The Drive, Wes Uhler, Matt Williamson on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Good evening, Steeler Nation. How we doing? Well, that's good. Us too. Hour number 2 here of The Drive, as we are staring down the barrel of division round weekend across the NFL. Before we give all of our thoughts and predictions on how those 4 games this weekend play out, we do need to put a bow on our 2025 rookie class conversation here, Matt.
Yeah.
This one, surprising to me too, number 11, just outside of the top 10, is the Tennessee Titans. And I guess it's because maybe just in my mind, I'm
not an even year, but I just like him a lot. Yeah.
Same. Is like, hey, found your future quarterback. But I guess in terms of actual production from the class.
Right.
They had
2 receivers that played a lot, but they don't look like they're the answer. They're going to be pieces of the puzzle.
Yes. Chamiri Dyke and Alec Ayamanyor.
Close enough. Everyone's got these crazy difficult names nowadays. And actually, it's not Dyke, it's DK.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Somebody's been saying that wrong then.
You were closer on the tough name.
I was closer on the tough name. DK Metcalf. There's only one DK around here, okay? Number 12, Dallas Cowboys.
The first-round guard is a really
Tyler
good player
Booker,
for him.
yeah.
I'm stretching after that.
13, the Miami Dolphins. Kenneth Grant.
He started real slow.
Ollie Gordon.
Gordon was okay. These middle-of-the-pack ones are not that impressive.
No.
I mean, not that the Steelers is way better, but it's in the same neighborhood as most of the leagues.
But it's way down on the list here.
Exactly, yeah.
14, Arizona Cardinals. How do you evaluate? Because Walter Nolan was one of those names that we discussed a lot heading into last year, along with Derek Harmon.
And Grant.
And Grant. How do you feel about the pecking order of those three at this point?
Grant was definitely third, but his last 6 weeks or so of the season got better and better, and you start to see it. So I don't think they're, disturbed about it.
Sure.
Nolan was phenomenal, but he had 2 different injuries. So I think he maybe played 5 games, something like that, because he started the season hurt.
6 games.
6, okay.
Yeah.
I'm just totally guessing. And he ended the season hurt. But when he was out there, he was, wow. I mean, I would take those flashes over Harmon, but not if he can't stay on the field.
15, the Buffalo Bills.
Buffalo Bills.
Maxwell Hairston, T.J. Sanders.
They went
Landon
defense
Jackson.
like crazy.
They really did. Deion Walker, Jordan Hancock.
Yeah, they're all pieces and role players.
Yeah. 16, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Emeka Ibuka.
Started really strong and fizzled, but
carries
still.
some weight there.
Yeah, that's pretty
Tez
good.
Johnson did a little bit
not
for
bad.
him this year. 17, the Denver Broncos.
R.J. Harvey didn't really
Harvey.
explode, but he's
No.
starting to. I think they're happy with him.
Yes.
first-round
Jedi Barron, the
pick,
first-round
Barron's-
corner, out of Texas. He
He's a
started
rotational guy too.
played
as a
all
nickel.
17
Yeah,
games.
Yeah,
Had an interception, 35 tackles, 5 passes defensed. Decent group.
yeah.
18, the Eagles. I might have thought they might be a little bit higher.
I think who they're.
Jihad Campbell. was
Campbell,
their
I
first-
think, is going to be a star.
I
but
think he's gonna
The
be
thing
really
is,
good.
they have Dean and they also have Bond. So he's 2 linebackers on the field all the time. He doesn't get in as much as you'd think.
And they gave Zach Bond that big contract.
Yeah,
this
he's been great.
offseason.
But
I think you're right. I think Jihad Campbell's got a
I think he has a
bright
chance to be
future.
really good.
First round linebacker they drafted since the 70s.
I know it's
and,
nuts.
And they I think they definitely hit on that.
Mm-hmm.
Seattle Seahawks 19. See, I think they should be a little bit
Zabel's
higher.
a really
Just
good player.
from Gray Zabel and Nick Emenwari. I mean,
Yeah,
I-
it's funny because we talked about the Patriots who are like 5th or 6th, and I know tackles are worth more than guards, but Zabel's way better than Campbell in my opinion. Henderson's a good player, but so is Emenwari. They both are like right on the outside, looking at defense and offensive rookie of the years. Those 2 picks in themselves is a lot.
those 2 alone I think would get you close to the top 10.
Yeah,
at least.
they're really important pieces for them.
Number 20, the Houston Texans. Jaden Higgins.
All offense.
Jalen Knoll. Yeah. Woody Marks.
Yeah, the left tackle, Ursary.
Unfortunately, who we
Yeah, so
had
all
the
those guys
displeasure of seeing
have
on
been playing
Monday
a
night.
lot this year.
21, the Kansas City Chiefs. Josh Simmons.
He was in that lineup. It was really impressive when he was in there.
Yeah. Omar Norman Lott, the defensive tackle from Tennessee.
Rotational guy.
Was kind of up and down.
They found a left tackle if they can keep him on the field.
Yes. And they're going to be a very interesting one to evaluate this draft go-round.
Mm-hmm.
22, the Detroit Lions. Tyleek Williams, Tate Ratledge, Isaac Tislaw. Another one of Zach Frazier's brothers, cousins, Miles Frazier.
Yeah.
A lot of Fraziers coming out of the NFL draft these last 2 years.
Drafted interior line pretty heavy, and the interior line was pretty bad, but maybe they're better as they age,
Isn't it wild? T-Slaw had 16 catches this year. 6 of them were for
I
touchdowns.
say they're like all big plays, yeah.
23, the Cincinnati Bengals. I don't know how they're not down lower.
I say they drafted defense like crazy, played them all, and they all played bad. They drafted guards and linebackers.
Like Demetrius Knight Jr. was okay for a second-round pick as a rookie. He was okay, but you got nothing else.
You got nothing
from
out of
these
the
guys.
first-round pick, the edge guy, and the guards weren't great.
I thought Taj Brooks for them in the 6th round was a really good pick.
I
at
did
running
too.
back,
I liked him.
and it still could be. It's only
Yeah,
been a year.
it should be.
Still
But he
could
didn't do
be.
anything as a rookie.
24, the Indianapolis Colts. Man, I think if Tyler Warren would have continued on his early trajectory, they'd probably be a little bit higher.
But still, he was an impact player for him. Trying to think what else they picked.
Riley Leonard, Jalen Travis.
Okay.
Jonathan Edwards, their undrafted corner, started 5 games.
Oh, they drafted a corner from Minnesota that got hurt in camp.
Justin Wally.
Wally, okay.
Yep. 25, the Washington Commanders.
I think they got a starting tackle in the first round.
And at pick 29,
that's something.
That's certainly something. Trey Amos.
Yeah, I think they're real happy with him too.
Hey,
he's a
Ja'Cory Croxky Merritt.
Yeah.
You know,
that might be one of those drafts like you mentioned. You
pick.
get a starting corner and a starting tackle for the next 8 to 10 years.
And a good running back.
Yeah. That's a good start.
That's better than 25. 26, no surprise here, the Las Vegas Raiders. Failure to launch with Aston Genty. We've said it a million times, not his fault, but still, he did not have the rookie season that a lot of people expected him to pick. I mean, Caleb Rogers and Charles Grant, the 2 tackles they drafted in the 3rd round, maybe there's somewhat of a future there, but
they didn't play him a ton from what I remember.
From your, kind of philosophy of just make a lot of picks.
Yeah.
I mean, they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 draft picks.
Really?
The Raiders did, and it feels like they didn't really hit on any.
They didn't really hit on any. And that'll be fun next year when we talk about Steelers, when you get they could be in that 11, 12 draft pick neighborhood.
Another team that made 11 draft picks. I don't understand why they aren't much higher. The San Francisco 49ers.
Ooh, they had to play a lot of those guys, too.
A lot of these
Their whole
guys.
defense was rookies, right.
3rd round, Nickel Upton Stout. 5th round, safety Marquise Seigel.
Stout was great.
Was very good.
Yeah,
very
still
good.
Is.
Like, if you redrafted this class, he might be a 1st-round pick.
Right, even as an undersized nickel corner, he's been really impactful.
I would have thought they'd be
Williams
a few
got hurt
spots
early,
higher.
the 1st-round pick.
Yeah.
But still, they got a lot out of their rookie class.
Number 28, your Pittsburgh Steelers. And they basically said, Derek Harmon missed 6 games. You didn't have a 2nd-round pick. Your 3rd-round pick, Caleb Johnson, barely played.
I mean, if you get 6 games really out of your top 3 rounds, you have to rank them low.
Yeah. No doubt. And that doesn't mean, listen, we're all really high on Derek Harmon going forward. I think we like what we saw this year from Jack Sawyer and Y.A. Black. That doesn't,
yeah.
But again,
doesn't mean the book's written on any of these
first
classes,
round, and these ranks are just in terms of pure production from
what
your
they did
class.
in year 1.
And when your 1st-round pick doesn't miss or misses, 6 games, and you have no 2nd-round pick, and you barely play your 3rd-round pick.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't even remember like an undrafted rookie being impactful this year.
No, I do not. I mean, Carson Bruner was a little bit on special teams, but didn't see Will Howard, didn't see Dante Kent, barely saw Caleb Johnson, didn't have a 2nd-round pick.
And usually there is an undrafted guy like Castro, or remember we were excited
Beanie
about.
Bishop
Yeah. But
some
that
of these,
didn't happen this year.
Some of these guys. Jalen Warren was one of those undrafted guys that we were very high on and still are. Number 29, the Green Bay Packers. Matthew Golden, Anthony Belton,
Yeah.
Savion Williams.
Okay. Yeah, it's not real exciting.
Not much to be excited by there. The Minnesota Vikings, who only made 1 pick in the top 100, and it was Donovan Jackson, the guard from Ohio State. I think he was an all right starter.
Oh, yeah. He's been real good.
He was a plus starter for them for the season, but they
just don't have enough volume.
That's about it.
Yeah.
I think
that's 2 years in a row that they went without like 2nd and 3rd round picks.
They only made 5 picks as well.
It's been a couple years in a row that they have not made many. That's going to bite you.
Gavin Bartholomew, the tight end from Pitt in the 6th round, I still think he can be a pretty good player. They got to find a quarterback that can get him the football. 31, the Jacksonville Jaguars, which I guess makes sense because Hunter barely played.
I mean, you gave everything you had to move up to get Hunter, and you got nothing out of him.
Yes, and they had no 2nd-round picks in the 3rd round. They take Caleb Ransaw, who didn't really play too much. Wyatt Milam, my guy from West Virginia, who got in a little bit due to injuries.
Got in the mix a little bit.
I think he's going to have a good, solid NFL future.
I do too.
Bashil Tootin was decent.
Yeah, he was okay, yeah.
Just a lot of – I think we could look back in 5 years and say that this was a really good Jacksonville Jaguars
Milam
class.
might be a starting guard, and Hunter could be the star. We were talking about this on a fantasy show the other day. Now, all of a sudden – I bet Hunter's much more corner than wide receiver, which us folks in fantasy that own him from Dynasty and stuff aren't happy at all about.
No.
But, like, they got Brian Thomas, the tight end, Myers is Parker Washington, Strange, all of a sudden, and their corners are kind of weak.
You think they might look at it and say, hey.
I think he might be corner first now.
Let's keep you on the defensive side of the football.
Yeah.
32, which is funny because they were number 1 on this list last year, but it's the L.A. Rams.
Wow.
No first-round pick again this
Well,
year.
they traded out round 1.
Yep. Terrence Ferguson, Josiah Stewart.
Okay.
I mean, they just
those guys play, but
didn't have much.
Didn't have much, but they could be first next year.
Certainly.
So they were first last year?
They were first last year.
Okay.
Because they had that
They'd Verse
and Fisk both last
yeah,
year, right?
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
They drafted 2 really productive defensive players, and then I think somebody else last year who was a key contributor.
Yeah, I'm trying
for
to
them.
think who else were some of their rookie class.
But they were, yes, a year ago they were a number 1, and now they are number 32, and that's just kind of the that's the way that the Rams have operated in a lot of regards.
right. They are a very swing for the
draft.
fence type of way too.
Yeah.
Right.
So there's some thoughts on
That's
the rookie classes. Yeah, now that the 2025 regular season is in the books. But let's end the segment, get to break. When we return, all eyes, let's focus on, forget the regular season. Let's talk some playoffs as we roll along the rest of the day here. Divisional round on the docket. We'll preview all these games here when we return. Wes Uhler, Matt Williamson. It is The Drive on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Back on the drive here, and it's time to focus on divisional round weekend. But before we do that, Matt, one, I guess, last kind of, I don't know, the coaching timeline update, I guess, for lack of better terms. It sounds like today we discussed earlier Nathan Schilhaas in his interview with the Steelers that we knew of today. It also sounds like Chris Shula will be interviewing today. So Rams guys trying to get that done and off their agenda while they prepare for the weekend.
I don't know how feasible it is, but it'd be nice to land both.
It'd be great.
Yeah.
That might even be my dream scenario.
Yeah,
Maybe we'll start to get into some of that stuff next week. It would be fantastic to land both. Maybe they could bring some of that Southern California weather with them here to Western Pennsylvania. And then it sounds like tomorrow, according to, again, all the big-time, big J journalist reporters out there, tomorrow Steelers will interview Jeff Hafley, Packers defensive coordinator, and Jesse Minter, Chargers defensive coordinator.
Okay. And they're both eliminated, so they're probably in person.
Ooh, that's a good point.
Just guessing,
I'm not sure, but it certainly could be the case. So that's kind of what we know. Again,
more and more homework I do on Minter, the more I like him too.
Yeah,
just comments you get from people and the way he's respected around the league. He'd make me happy too.
We'll deep dive into some more specifics, and maybe by next week we'll know who's getting follow-up interviews, second interviews, and
there'll probably be a couple coaching spots filled. I do think that Harbaugh domino is real.
I think you're right. If you're asking me right now, by the time you and I go back on air next on Monday, is there another NFL team that's announced their next head coach? I would guess
say
yes.
Yes. I mean, it's all speculation, but there's been a lot of Stefanski, Falcon stuff today. Who knows?
So we'll continue to keep tabs on it all, keep an eye on it all as we roll along here now. But now, Matthew, it is time for the main event. Divisional round action, 2 games Saturday, 2 games Sunday. I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. Let's go in chronological order here.
So we could get weather in all 4 spots, too.
We certainly could. Yeah. We certainly could. Wait a second. You mean in Denver in mid-January there might be some weather elements? Nothing.
New England.
Nothing. New England and Seattle and Chicago.
Yeah.
There's not a Texas team hosting the game.
No, or a dome,
Florida team, or a dome team. The elements certainly could play a big part in all 4 of these games. So let's go in chronological order. I am a little surprised that the Buffalo Broncos game is kind of the Saturday afternoon one. But
you knew the 2 bye teams would be Saturday.
That's a good point.
Yeah, that part you didn't. Yeah,
good point. That is always the case. Denver hosting the Bills 4:30 on Saturday. Denver a 1.5-point favorite.
I'm looking forward to this one. Allen. Watching the game, I realized how good he was, but I rewatched it. He was spectacular in that game. And he was so good. Maybe his highlight tape wasn't Josh Allen-esque. Not that it was bad. But he kept them in the right plays and in control and good decisions.
It wasn't Superman Josh Allen.
Right.
It was just like
above the neck.
It was like one step ahead of the Jags, Josh Allen.
He had 3 injuries. I think he has a broken foot. And he came into the game with that. his knee went like this, and then he was all right. And then they're doing like design quarterback runs and after he hyperextends his knee, smash his head, smash his hand on a helmet. Didn't matter, and they didn't even run the ball that well, I mean, the Jags are a good run defense. That being said, I am going to bet against them. Okay. I think a bye week is very helpful for Seattle and Denver. 1 week off this time of year, there has to be so many bumps and bruises in those buildings. And unlike the Jags, I mentioned that Hunter thing with the Jags, their corners were a problem in that game against a bad group of Bills receivers. Well, Denver's corners aren't going to be a problem.
Denver's corners are a strength.
They're going to play man against guys that can't beat man. And maybe Allen is that, total Superman that is unbeatable at this point. But I think Denver's going to run the ball, and Peyton will stay really patient with that stuff.
They get Dre Greenlaw back, too.
Do they?
The Broncos.
Okay. Yeah. I think Ed Oliver comes back, but he's not exactly a run stuffer. But Buffalo's run defense is really bad, too. Yeah. So I'm taking Denver there. But I made that pick on a different podcast, and my co-host was like, I'm just taking Allen over Knicks. I'm like, I get that,
I totally
at this stage of their careers, right?
I totally do. And you look at the Broncos injury report, it's like nothing. And then you look at the Bills, and
really?
it's alarming.
Yeah. Oh, the other thing about the Bills, they're going to dress 3 wide receivers because they're so injured at wide receiver. Jeez. They're that hurt at wideout. They only have 3 on the roster right now.
Ed Oliver has been limited at practice all week, listed as questionable. Bernard, questionable. Ty Johnson, questionable. Jordan Poyer has been ruled out, and Curtis Samuel, questionable. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're
playing like Brandon Cooks, who they picked up, and they're really light at some positions.
So, Matt, it's funny. I went into this segment thinking that I was just going to pick Josh Allen over Bo Nix.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time not.
But I might be on your side. I might be leaning towards after really digging into this and all the injuries and everything, I might be leaning towards Denver.
1.5?
1.5.
Denver's favored.
Denver's favored by 1.5.
I could believe either one's favored, but yeah, I thought Denver was favored.
I think I'll lay the points with Denver. I think I'm with you.
Yeah, that's enough for me to change. But
Josh Allen still, certainly, if you ask me the one guy that'll be the difference in this game, I think it'll be him. But man, they are so banged up.
He's really putting them on their back, putting them on his back.
Yeah, he's banged up too.
Yeah,
it'd be one thing really if they were banged up and he felt healthy.
Right. He's got like 4 injuries.
Yeah, it's rough. Saturday night. And what has, we talk a lot about Steelers-Ravens, rightfully so. I think we've talked a lot about Packers-Bears, rightfully so. But this, Matt, might be the most underrated rivalry in the NFL over the last 10, 15 years. It goes all the way back to Richard Sherman and Michael Crabtree.
Kaepernick and Harbaugh when he was the Niners head coach.
Yep.
Pete Carroll
Harbaugh and Pete Carroll.
Lynch, right.
Another edition of Seahawks and Niners in the playoffs with a whole bunch on the line. 8 o'clock Saturday night on Fox there at Lumen Field in Seattle, Washington, where that is by far the most expensive get-in price of the week. You're looking at over $430 just to get in and sit in the nosebleeds, and that's before fees and all that stuff. The Seahawks, 7 points, touchdown favorite at home, with Sam Darnold being questionable with an injury.
He said he's going to play today.
Okay.
But he got injured in practice yesterday. He injured an oblique. So he was fine their last game. Bye week, he's fine, and he tweaked something in practice, which you never like to see. But he said he's playing. Whatever. I guess I'll believe him.
Yeah.
Kittle is out.
I
don't love that. I do think Trent Williams and Pearsall are back, or Williams played, but I think they're good to go. But, man, San Francisco, their defense, Robert Saleh is getting some attention as the head coach again, which I totally get. Did a really good job with such a banged-up defense. It's loaded with rookies that we talked about.
And I think anybody who fails as the New York Jets head coach deserves a second chance.
Yeah, that shouldn't end your career, that's for sure.
Stefanski, too. I mean, some of these places, you deserve a second shot.
But I also think, and the more work I did into the Philly offensive coordinator, he should have been fired. I mean, it was a really remedial, easy, offense that they were running there, and not that hard to play against. So I do give the Niners D credit for last week, but I think this is going to be a tougher test. And Seattle's D is right there with Houston's for me as the best out there.
The pass rush could cause some problems for the Niners.
They cause problems everywhere. I think I'm pretty certain Seattle wins. I know they're the better team, but it is that third time you play, and Shanahan and those guys aren't going to be at all intimidated or overwhelmed by the circumstances. 7 seems like a lot.
I was thinking the same thing.
I'm still taking Seattle, but that's a big number.
I'm taking the points.
Are you?
I think the Seahawks win, but not by more than a touchdown. So I'll take the Niners +7. But that's not an easy one to pick.
No, I mean that's a big number for this round of the playoffs.
It's I shouldn't say by far because the Rams are 4.5-point favorites in Chicago. But you're right. You don't often see a touchdown when you get to the final 8
for teams that are either had a bye or beat it
left in the league. And I understand it's at Seattle, good home field advantage, all that stuff. I'll take the points with San Francisco.
Okay.
But I do think Seattle wins.
Did you take Denver?
I took Denver.
Yeah.
Yep. You convinced me.
Yeah.
You talked me into it. On to Sunday here. 2 more games on Sunday, beginning at 3 o'clock on ESPN and ABC up in Foxborough, Massachusetts, where the Patriots look to continue their winning ways against Houston. The Texans now, they go to Pittsburgh last week on Monday night. Now they travel to New England Sunday afternoon. Matt, the Patriots, I don't think they'll be able to get away with the performance that they got away with against the Chargers against this Houston team. The Patriots are, though, 3-point favorites at home in this one.
So the Chargers defense, led by Minter, did a good job, but eventually they were just on the field too much and couldn't keep it up.
16 points.
Yeah. They did their job. But
also, this is lowest over-under of the
I would say I think this is going to – whatever the over-under is, I might just go under.
40.5.
I'm definitely going under. I think this game is like in the teens, 13-12 type of game.
17-14.
Yeah, because I was really impressed with the Patriots' defense. When Milton Williams is back next to Barmore, that's a really good group, and they're a lot healthier than they've been on defense. Now, I'm sure Houston folks are going, man, Stroud played – we all admit Stroud played terrible here. I would imagine, and his numbers actually are much better at home and in the dome than they are away.
Sure.
I don't know. We didn't really discuss that. I don't know which quarterbacks other than Allen are super equipped to handle the weather. I mean, Nix, we haven't seen a ton. May, we haven't seen a ton.
Maybe
Stroud,
Caleb Williams, at least he's played in
They're
it.
all physical enough, yeah. I mean, Stafford, I'm sure will be fine. But overall, if you look at the Patriots' schedule, which has been easy, they have not faced a defense like Houston's. And I'm not sure there is a defense like Houston's, but nothing close. I think he'll be under a ton of pressure. I expect Stroud to play better. I don't think they'll have as much success on the ground as they did against the Steelers. They usually just don't. But Nico's out. I assume he's out. I haven't heard that. I
haven't seen that he's cleared concussion protocol.
I haven't heard that he's even practiced yet. So I'm just assuming he's out. Christian Gonzalez does come back.
He has been ruled out. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Christian Gonzalez came back, I think, from his concussion. My bet here is take the points in the under because I think it's going to be defense galore. But I'm going to say New England ends up winning. But I'm taking points. It's like a 2.5 game, something like that.
3.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not laying points with New England really against most people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sitting here saying there's some Fugazi fraud and all that. But I'm not laying points with the Patriots.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it. So I'm with you. I think the real play here is the under 40.5.
2 good defenses, and I think Houston's have trouble blocking them too.
2 good defenses and weather seem like a low
Steelers
scoring.
we didn't talk much about the game, but
we really did.
I mean, comparatively speaking, but the Steelers' pass rush showed up, and I think New England's pass rush will show up.
They forced 2 turnovers for Stroud.
Mm-hmm.
The Steelers' defense when that game was still clearly in the balance. I'll take Houston +3. I'm with you. I think
that seems like a lot.
I think they certainly could win. I'm just not laying points with the Patriots. I'm just not doing it. I'm not that sold on them yet.
I would pick them to win if Nico was in, but the other weapons aren't bad. We saw Christian Kirk, and
it's a big
tough
loss for Houston.
High on the list of guys you can't lose
for an offense there that doesn't have a ton of dynamic pieces.
Yeah.
And then finally, Sunday at 6:30 in the windy city of Chicago at Soldier Field. Can I just say real quick digression?
Yeah.
You obviously watched that fantastic Bears and Packers game that might end up being the game of the postseason by the time it's all said and done.
The throw Williams made. And,
the comeback and the backdrop of the rivalry and all those things. After going back and watching that game again, you'll laugh at this, but you also know I am a sports dork. I'm a sports romantic. I just have to say this because I've got a microphone. Adam Sandler, wedding singer. I have a microphone and you don't, so you will listen to every word I have to say. The Bears can't move from Chicago. Like, come on. Those aerial shots, and they're playing the Packers,
cool,
and it's snowing, and Chicago skyline is in the background. You cannot uproot and move to the middle of nowhere, Illinois or Indiana or whatever they're trying to do. Don't do it.
Cheap real estate.
All those jokes that I've made in the past about the Steelers moving to Cranberry would be really nice because it'd be right down the street from me, and I could take an electric scooter to the stadium every game day. Don't do it. I'm telling you.
Yeah, there's something to be said for it.
There's something to be said when it's nighttime and they're doing those wide shots and the skylines in the background. And you can't leave Chicago, Bears. Don't do it. Don't do it.
And I'm sure they'd have fun pre and post game at the new place, but I'm sure it's a blast at the bars and restaurants and all that whole environment.
Cleveland's moving their stadium out to the suburbs. I'm sure it'll be gorgeous. I'm sure it'll be
pretty,
beautiful. Yeah. I'm sure the weather will be much better than it is. But it's not
cheaper real estate.
It's not the same as when they do those wide shots and the skylines right in the background. Carolina Panthers, that game against the Rams, same thing. Like their stadium is right downtown, and you get the.
I mean, imagine if Monday football's here and you don't even see the point in the Three Rivers.
Exactly right.
You know what I mean?
You see Wes's house up in Cranberry and Mars.
You don't see the bridges and people that don't see Pittsburgh often like, wow, that's a really pretty city. You know, right? Yeah.
And again, I'm a dork. Like the Bills have never played in Buffalo. Like these LA teams. Inglewood is not. It's not far crazy outside of LA, but it's not. But man, that really struck me when I went back and watched
the Giants were in the heart of the Big Apple. And you move them. Yeah,
exactly right. Like the Bears are in the heart of Chicago.
Yeah.
You can't do it. You can't move them.
I like that take.
I know Candlestick Park was a dump. I know that the Niners had to do something, but moving 60 miles outside of San Francisco wasn't the answer.
I bet season ticket holders didn't love it either, unless they happen to move in their neighborhood, like you mentioned. Right?
It's not my money. I get it. These, as you and I discussed yesterday, this is McDonald's and Wendy's and Chick-fil-A and Burger King. They're all in the same sphere, but they all operate differently.
Yeah.
It's easy for me to say when I'm not the owner who's looking at the spreadsheet and the costs and all those things. But Steelers never leave downtown. Chicago Bears never leave downtown. Just the football romantic, the sports dork.
I like that you brought it up.
Yeah,
especially when you put the hometown spin on it too. Like, imagine not seeing the rivers. Come on.
It's great, and no bridges, no rivers, no Mount Washington.
Even like PNC Park looks cool next to it.
How are we going to make the Darnell Mount Washington joke if you're playing 30 minutes away from Mount Washington,
or whatever,
out there in Monroeville or Cranberry? No.
All right, let's break this one down.
Rams 4.5-point favorites against the Bears in Chicago.
So I think these teams are in such different head spaces. And I don't even know if teams think this way. They probably don't. They shouldn't. But the Rams' expectations are kind of like Super Bowl or bust. The Bears are just like playing with house money. We're ahead of schedule. This is going great. We'll come back and win. We'll get a bunch of turnovers. Caleb will figure out a way to win, even though we're down 20 at the half or whatever. Where I think the Rams are playing tighter but I'm still going to take McVay and Stafford to win. And I think the Rams defense that has struggled a bit, and we know Shula's the coordinator there, I think he can get that a little more right. The front is good, but I think the Bears are a high-quality offense. I can see a lot of points unless the weather.
Everywhere.
I mean, unless the weather is really poor, I could see a lot of offense in this game. I'm taking the points, but the Rams to win.
Okay, so you're taking Chicago plus 4.5.
Over a field goal, I'm taking.
But the Rams win by 2 or 3 or 4 or something like that.
I think it's 31-29,
That seems like about the right script. This is, I'm sure you're not surprised by this, but this is the highest over-under of the weekend.
They must not expect weather to be too insane.
48.5 there is, let's see here if I can get a quick... Yeah, I don't see anything on the weather report that really stands out here.
Tyler just texted us.
Is it bad?
Frigid temperatures, heavy winds, and snow in the forecast. Wow.
Sorry, I looked at the wrong AccuWeather thing.
Maybe it won't have as much.
21 degrees and snow. Although, you know what? I will say this.
That might be better than wet and wind and,
And I don't know if you guys remember, but the Rams went to Philly last year for the divisional round, and it was dumping snow.
Oh, yeah.
And they stood right in there and went toe-to-toe with the Super Bowl champions in the snow on the road in Philadelphia. Stafford played great.
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley played great. But the Rams just played in one of these divisional round on-the-road bad weather games 365 days ago.
And held their own against
the Super Bowl champions. I think they can do it again in Chicago.
I don't have a problem with Stafford. You know?
No, absolutely not. I'm with you, Matt. I like what you said. I think the Rams win, but at 4.5, I'll take the points with the Bears.
One thing I want people to note for all these games is when you watch them, or if you're betting on them, or whatever you're into, an aspect of weather that people don't think about enough is how it affects pass rush and get off. And I always think of Chicago that way because I always think of them having like the sloppiest field in the league.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and that would hurt the Rams more than the Bears if get off is tough because they're so reliant on that front four on the defense where the Bears front isn't that great. Or if Will Anderson and Hunter can't get off the ball as usual, if it's slippery or slippy, you know, but just keep an eye on that stuff. Like people always think about the kickers and the kicking game and which quarterback has the biggest arm and ability to cut the wind in the snow. First off, there's an art to throwing the football, and Brady actually showed last week.
It's like the one time I thought he really did a good job.
Like, that's a nice little tidbit there, TB12.
Hey,
I like
where's
that.
Been for the last 2
Right,
years?
I bet you know some other things. But think about the pass rush too when the weather's sloppy, especially the field. You know, your footing.
It can absolutely mitigate
it can really slow you down.
A very strong pass rush. And that the weather, definitely. As I'm looking at it here now, looks like a subplot.
Maybe it's a little lower scoring than I thought, but I'll still take the point. It makes me want to take the points even more.
I was just if we think it's going to be lower scoring, even tighter, 4.5 points
seems like a lot.
Seems like a safe bet. Hopefully, well, I guess it won't be. Well, I mean, it could be because it'll still take them a few years, but hopefully not the last playoff game there at Soldier Field. I'm gonna run for president on that platform. Keep stadiums in the city. Think of Fenway Park versus Foxborough. Foxborough's in the middle of a neighborhood 30 miles outside of the city. Yeah. Fenway Park is like Fenway Park. It's like this historic Fenway Park.
Downtown.
If you flipped those two places, if you put the Patriots in the city and put the Red Sox 30 miles out of the suburbs, I'm sure that wouldn't quite be the same nostalgia over the Green Monster. Oh, yeah.
I know this is a next week conversation. I should know this. But when's the national title game? Is it Thursday?
Monday. You're talking for Indiana, Miami, college football. It's Monday.
So it'll be a couple days from now.
Yep.
Oh, okay. I thought there was a week in between. Okay.
Because it was fun. When I was coming in here today, I was like, we've got 2 divisional games Saturday, 2 divisional games Sunday, college football national championship Monday. I was like, but we'll
definitely talk about that Monday.
We'll spend 5-10 minutes talking about that on Monday, certainly. But Indiana, 8.5-point favorites.
Where's the game at?
The game is in Miami.
It's
at Miami's stadium, which is crazy. But that's where Fernando Mendoza is. There's a lot of like funny side plots in there.
Really? Okay. Now I'm excited to break that one down too.
I am too.
I didn't realize it was up this Monday.
It's this Monday. Yep. We'll talk about that a little bit more on Monday. I think Indiana wins. I think Indiana should be favored, but 8.5 seems like a big number. But we'll dive into that Monday, and we'll share some other than Mendoza and Carson Beck and some of the obvious names. We'll give some prospects to watch in that one.
Yeah, Indiana's got a few
on Monday night.
2 edge rushers for Miami too.
2 edge rushers in the tackle. Muaga.
Yeah.
For Miami. Miami also has the best freshman wide receiver in the country who's going to be a top 10 pick in a few years.
Yeah, he has that look about him.
He's still got a while before he can enter the draft. We'll put a bow on this thing on the other side. Matt, I want to wrap up a couple tweets.
Okay, we got a lot of good ones lately.
And then there was an article on NFL.com today talking about teams that must re-sign their quarterback.
Huh, okay.
And there were 2 names on that list that really made my ears perk up.
Okay.
So I want to discuss that with you before we get out of here today, too. We'll do all that and more when we close this thing down on the other side. Wes Uhler, Matt Williamson. It is The Drive on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Closing this thing down here on a Friday. Wow, what a week it's been, gentlemen. Tell you what.
Sure has.
My goodness.
Didn't expect the week to go this way.
No, I did not. I did not. I thought we would have, and you kind of referenced this in the last segment, but I thought we would have spent a lot more time talking about the Steelers' wild card loss than we did.
Yes.
Which was only in about 2 segments of our 30 this week because of course, the seismic news that Mike Tomlin was stepping down as the Steelers head coach.
I told you I recorded one for Wednesday, I guess it was. No, I guess it was for Thursday. That was like my day 2 recap of the game.
Yeah.
And I got a lot of tweets, and they were all cool about it. They were like, it's funny, but I kind of didn't even want to talk about it anymore. You know, like all the things that went wrong, there's nobody to blame anymore. You know, like it's just a weird situation. And certainly this town's not used to it. Like I'm sure it's probably weird in Cleveland if the coach didn't get fired after the year, you know?
That's exactly right. And you know what? It's funny that
another one of these.
That was something, and maybe we should ask Missi about that. But I heard Missi earlier this week. I think it was Wednesday. She went on with the DVE morning show.
Yeah.
And I was laughing because they asked her, like, you know, what are the emotions like? What's running through your mind? And she was like, honestly, I had to text. She's like, we have a group, like I don't remember if she said a Teams or a Group Me or, you know, like one of those apps, Slack or something.
Yeah.
With all of the sideline reporters that are women around the National Football League.
I know they like get together at the combine.
They get together at the combine
right.
and stuff like that. She's like, I had to reach out to a couple of the girls in my group. And she kind of insinuated, like, you know, from like the Jets and the Panthers and the Browns, like,
oh, okay.
What do you do? How do you navigate?
Okay.
What's this? Like, I don't know what to do with my hands. I'm in a coaching search. You guys do this every couple years. Like, tell me.
I thought she was asking about like Shula and Minter.
No, just like, how do I navigate this? What are we doing? What's the timeline? What type of question should I be asking?
That's interesting.
Like all
right.
All that
Never. I'm the only one here that's never done this.
Right. Guys, tell me what I need to know.
The Ravens reporter probably did the same thing before. Like, man, I'm not used to this. Right.
Been 18 years for Baltimore, 19 years for Pittsburgh. Matt, I mentioned to you there was something that caught my eye on NFL.com that I wanted to run by you here.
Okay.
And it was a free agency.
There aren't that many free agent quarterbacks coming up, so I'm interested about
There's
this.
not.
Yeah.
And the article was basically teams that need to re-sign their quarterback in the 2026 offseason.
Okay.
And some of these are not that, like Daniel Jones is one of them.
Oh,
Bring
He's
him
hurt,
back
so I kind of
type
forgot
thing.
about him. But
Marcus Mariota, bring him back to be Jaden Daniels.
He seems
he's
like a
good
fine backup, similar style.
Exactly. Like Tyler Huntley's on here for Baltimore. Don't let him get away, keep him around.
I'm shocked they ever did let him get away. He was like a perfect lifetime back. He's that Jason Garrett guy that we talked about forever.
Yep. And what really caught my eye on here was two of the names on this list are two names that we've discussed and will discuss plenty. Malik Willis and the Packers.
See, that's a mistake. Who wrote it?
And Aaron
I'm
Rodgers
not going to kill whoever
and the
wrote
Pittsburgh
it,
Steelers. Nick Shook of NFL.com.
He's written for them for a while.
His
and Aaron Rodgers.
His logic for Malik Willis was you can't let him walk out the door because you see how much time Jordan Love has missed with injury over the past 2 seasons. It's too much of a risk. I do understand that, but what's that money look like?
That's to say, the finances of it don't make any sense. I mean, I think there's still a misconception. I don't know what Willis is going to make, but he is one of the happiest people that Dante Moore went back to school and that this class stinks. And hey, I'm very, very interested in him for the Steelers. We're going to talk about him a lot.
Yes,
don't get me wrong.
Yes, we are.
But there is a dollar amount that won't make sense after a while. And this is people are going to be sick of me talking about this subject too. But there's going to be a lot of quarterback movement that might not mean much this year. Like guys moving around. Cousins goes from here to there. Blah blah. It's a lot of stopgap guys.
Kyler Murray.
So there's going to be some
Mac Jones
shuffling deck chairs on the Titanic at the quarterback position because there's just not enough of a supply. So some of these teams looking for them, and unfortunately, the Steelers are going to be in this market, and hopefully they hit on one. But my point is, he could easily get vastly overpaid on the open market. I mean, I think he's worth similar to what Fields got when he went to the Jets.
That would make sense.
And let's throw another 10 to 20% on there for inflation and upside. He's the ultimate door number 2 go fish guy because we still don't know.
He's only 26.
He's still a puppy, and that's why I'm super interested in him. But even if he's making Fields money, which I think would be the low end, you can't pay that and Love. I mean, you can't bring him back. There's no way he's going back to Green Bay. And he might have a chance to start somewhere. He's going to have a chance to start somewhere.
I don't think he would want to go back to Green Bay.
I mean, I think he had a great experience there. It made him better.
I could get more money on the open market, and I want a chance to be the guy.
I think he'll be one of the 32 opening day starters.
Agreed.
Yeah.
If you asked me to put a chip down on it right now, I absolutely think he's.
Yeah. There's just so many landing spots.
I know it's still a small sample size, but if you asked me to rank 1 through 32 quarterbacks in the NFL, I would have him on that list.
Yeah.
I mean, he's one of the best 32 quarterbacks in the world.
Especially when you think of opportunities. Like what are the Jets going to do? What are the there's a lot of spots you could land.
And using your reference, like on the Titanic, there were only so many chairs for all the people trying to get off the boat.
Yeah.
Now it's like there's only so many chairs for people that are trying to find a spot on the boat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the musical chairs, right.
In terms of supply and demand, Malik Willis is high in demand and there's low supply.
That's why his agent is thrilled, and he is thrilled.
And
so
then
I just wonder what that'll be.
Aaron Rodgers being on this list surprised me. And their logic was you are going to have such an organizational upheaval and change without Mike Tomlin. And the same thing we've talked about. It's not a crazy deep draft class that we all thought it might be. It's not a crazy deep free agent class. There's not other than Malik Willis, there's not a lot of interesting reclamation projects. Bring in Aaron Rodgers to run it back and have some type of stability within the organization is their argument.
I mean, I wouldn't slam the door on it from a Steelers perspective or from Rodgers' perspective if I even plan on playing football. I mean, that's the step number one to even have this conversation.
He could announce 2 months from now that I'm out.
He has no interest whatsoever, right?
And he's standing in the atrium at Lambeau Field next to the Lombardi statue,
right.
And he's doing his farewell press conference, and retiring as a Packer.
Or maybe he goes to the Vikings, or I mean, I still think there would be some market for him.
Oh, absolutely.
Or maybe he's the guy that waits until training camp and somebody gets hurt and they call him like Flacco or Rivers. I mean, I know those are extreme, but he's better than that too. But I mean, so I'm not saying no, but I think it's unlikely it happens.
I think it's very unlikely that it happens.
Mr. Rooney even mentioned it, that he didn't say
he
no.
came here to play for Mike Tomlin.
Right.
So you would,
and I did get a positive experience here. I mean, I think there's other aspects of teammates, city, organization he likes.
Spoke about historic, how he liked being with a historic organization. Packers are a historic organization. Steelers are a historic organization. I don't know. Maybe some of that was just because he liked to throw dirt on the Jets, which
probably there was a smidge of it, right?
Probably a little bit of that too. But
and I'm sure he wouldn't even consider it until he knew who the coach was.
Absolutely,
right.
It's a great point.
Yeah,
that's a great point. So that just kind of surprised me, and I thought deserved a mention there. But Matt, I think that'll about do it for today. I think that's a
interesting week.
To put it lightly, an interesting week.
Yeah.
When we come back on Monday, we'll have
Hope the rest of the offseason keeps us this busy.
From a content perspective,
it's really good, yeah.
It's almost like too much. It's like, whoa.
We'd be talking about like the Steelers free agents to be and things like that already, and we can wait still.
We'd have been talking who did they sign to futures contracts and all these things in the past week. There's some bigger fish to fry on the table, certainly. So Monday, we'll recap divisional round. We'll preview the college football national championship. And as Matt alluded to, we will definitely have more news on the Steelers coaching search front and for the other 8 teams around the other 8, because you take the Giants off the board. The other 8 teams around the National Football League as well. So I'm sure we will have plenty to get to next week and for the foreseeable future here. So join us, won't you? But that'll do it for us this week. Thanks to Missi Matthews for joining us today from a hockey rink somewhere in parts unknown. To Tyler
I think we
V.
did get a goal on
someone
definitely scored there, yeah.
I hope it was one of her son's teams, though, and not the opposition. Thanks to Tyler V, Mr. TV, for producing on the video side, keeping us nice and handsome on YouTube. For Matt Williamson, I'm Wes Uhler. Take care, everybody, and we'll talk to you next week. As always, you know where to find us. It's on your 24/7 home of the black and gold, Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network.